This is Ricky Burns, and you're watching Sport and Icons.
Okay, so this Saturday at Madison Square Garden in New York City, Josh Taylor will defend his WBO super lightweight world title against Teofimo Lopez. Now, it's a very interesting fight. It's a fight that I could see either of them winning, to be honest. I really can. But of course, both of them have an Achilles heel, and I'll explain why. Now, firstly, Josh Taylor, he's been inactive since February last year, where he got that controversial win over Jack Catterall. So that's nearly a year and a half of inactivity. Now, not always his fault. Of course, he's trying to make the rematch with Jack Catterall. He lost all his undisputed titles, all barring the WBO. He got injured and all these other kind of things. So regardless, he's been out of the ring for a long time. Inactivity is no good for anyone. No good for anyone. And of course, now he's changed trainers as well. With Teofimo Lopez, his biggest Achilles heel is his father. His father fills his head with absolute nonsense. His father lived vicariously through him, much like John Fury does with Tyson, right? And I think with these kind of fathers, it's only bad for the boxer. It is. And last time out, Teofimo Lopez fought Sandor Martin, and in my opinion, he lost that fight. He did. But hey, it is what it is. Now, when it comes to the positives for both of them, I mean, firstly, I think that both of them, they have been in there with some good opponents. They have. Officially, Josh Taylor is undefeated, and officially, Teofimo Lopez only has one loss on his record to George Kambosos Jr. And if you lose to George Kambosos Jr., there's nothing wrong with that. He's a good fighter. But it proves you're not at a certain level. And I do wonder whether there were some personal issues in his life when he went into that fight, or whether he overrated himself, underrated George Kambosos, I don't know. But with Teofimo, in the 18 months, 16 months that Josh Taylor's been out of the ring, Teofimo Lopez has fought twice in that time. So he's active, whereas Josh Taylor isn't. But also, Teofimo Lopez is moving up to this division. Well, he's already moved up. Of course, he's had a fight or two there at that weight already, but he's always been a 135 fighter for most of his career, whereas Josh Taylor is struggling to make that weight. You could see that in the Catterall fight. You could see that the fight beforehand as well, where he just doesn't make the weight very, very well. Now, maybe he's changed up all his nutrition, all that kind of thing, so maybe he can make it a little bit easier now. But I think he's too big for this weight. And if he really struggles, it's going to impact his performance. It is, because you only have like 24 hours or so to rehydrate. So, but again, this fight is going to be on away soil. It is going to be on Teofimo Lopez's home country of the United States of America. So Josh Taylor is essentially the away fighter. Even though he is the champion, of course, he's going to ring walk as champion and be introduced second and whatever else. But the home advantage is going to be Teofimo Lopez. Now, as to who wins this fight, it's difficult to say. I mean, obviously I want Josh to win. Of course I do. But I do worry about his weight, and I do worry about his inactivity. I do. I also worry about the fact that because he got that controversial win over Jack Catterall last time out, where the public pretty much blasted Josh Taylor like it was his fault. It wasn't him that robbed Jack Catterall. It was the judges in that, wasn't it? But that would have made him angry. And when you're angry and you want to go out there and really prove a point, one of two things could happen. You could go out there and put on an absolute brutal destruction performance, or you can try and put on that brutal destruction performance and then get encountered yourself. Teofimo Lopez ain't no mug. Okay, he can punch. He can. And we know he's got a very, very good boxing IQ as well. To defeat Vasyl Lomachenko, you've got to have something about you. Okay, so anyway, my prediction for this fight, I think that it's going to be a close fight. I think the first few rounds is going to be Josh Taylor pretty much chasing Teofimo Lopez around. Lopez is the faster fighter, of course. And I think that the gas tank of Teofimo Lopez is probably better than Josh Taylor. With the fact that Josh Taylor is getting a little bit older now. Not that he's old, of course not. He's not approaching retirement. But the weight niggles me. It really does niggle me. And I think that Josh Taylor, he probably has to get a knockout. To win this fight, he has to get a knockout. Teofimo, he's no stranger to being hit to the canvas, okay? He's no stranger to that. And Josh Taylor does carry that power. He does. And with Josh Taylor being southpaw as well, Teofimo, listen, he knows how to negate southpaws. He's done it with Vasyl Lomachenko, of course. But all it takes is Teofimo to get a little bit overconfident, and I do expect him to have a bit of a sizable lead at the halfway point for Teofimo Lopez. And at that point, Teofimo may get a little bit overexcited, a little bit overconfident, and he may walk onto one. Josh, he can punch, of course. We've seen him flatline a couple of people on that before, and certainly drop a few people to the canvas as well. But I'd love Josh Taylor to win. So I'm going to stick with Josh Taylor. I think he is going to win. I think it's going to be a potentially a knockout victory. Maybe around 10, 11, something like that. Hey, if Josh can do it early, great. But it's difficult to say. I wouldn't put money on it that I couldn't afford to lose for Josh Taylor winning. I think that this could be his final hurrah at this weight. Maybe he's taking one fight too many. Maybe two fights too many at this weight. But anyway, that's my thoughts. You drop me yours. Who do you think's winning? Catch you next video. Subscribe.